And stay in your houses. Drive the rats in the tank area.
Oh, yes, it's time for our wonderful edition of Tracks of the Damned, and I could not be more proud that Human Hoof Beast now is part of the jewelry club, if you want to display those fine items for all to see. I think I'm rubbing off on him. Which actually goes really well into this edition. Brother Hoofbeast here has found a video that we're just going to have a blast with because there's a some sort of a Christian metal show on YouTube, and this time they review one of Hoofbeast's favorites and one of my starting to become one of my favorite bands as well, Watain. So, but before we get into all that, guess what day it is? Tiddling Tuesday. Just in case you didn't see that, Kyler. Wink, wink, wink. That's right. A triple dose of the lazy nipple for you. But obviously, please. He says, damn you. It's almost like the Star Trek. Gone! You know. But anyway. So what you all need to do out there right now is to share this to anyone and everyone, whether they watch from YouTube or Facebook. Share it out now. And those of you that always do, you already know I appreciate you. So
before we go to break,
tell us a little bit of, go right ahead. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah. So I was watching this, and I've watched these guys for about probably 4 years. They do reaction videos to metal. The man calls himself like a band member. He's a guitar player. And a lot of times they say pretty good things, but it really is like when I watch their shows, what I don't like is they can be very, very black and white about it. And these are bands that are like more artistic, in my opinion. A lot of times they're real black and white. They're not terrible when they review the music. So each of their videos is about an hour long. It takes them about somewhere between 8 and 12 minutes to get through reviewing the song. And then they proceed to go 50 minutes to an hour in trying to proselytize and condemn and bring in their view of revelation in the book of Jesus as if it's absolute black and white truth. And they are just pretty pompous. And I always cut their videos off. I was interested when they would do, certain videos, and so I'd watch, but I don't subscribe to them. It just happened to come up recently, and I saw they'd done Watain, and I thought, you know what? This might be an interesting topic, because I know these guys are fucking asshats. And so I watched it. It pissed me off, and I started writing Reaper right away, and I said, hey, how about this idea for a show?
And I think it's great because I don't think everyone, obviously, out there in Black Flame Land watches things like this or has it actually come up on their YouTube as a suggestion. Now, my suggestions are pretty much anything from metal to horror to wrestling and so many other things. And it's just like, not really sure why these things pop up, but I definitely would have gave that a watch. So I specifically didn't watch this one because I want you to get the Raw Reaper uh, onslaught of terror when I see this, because I just know I'm going to be pissed. So I'm ready to be pissed. If anyone else is ready to be pissed, let's do it.
They're pretty good until you hit about the 13 minutes and 28 seconds. Although the guy says something somewhere, I think around 4 minutes. It might be 6 minutes. He says something, and I just saw like, okay.
So Kyler says, you are piquing all my interests.
And one of the things about these guys is, and this is a topic that I really wanted to bring to everybody, is before I got into this, as much metal I listened into, I didn't know jack diddly squat about Satanism. And once I actually got the book and started to read it, I was like, wow, this is nothing like how black metal and death metal and Hollywood portrays this book, The Church of Satan and the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. And I want to kind of bring that out because here we have these two Christians shitting on Satanism, and they probably have the same understanding that I used to have. And you can disagree, but at least be informed. I didn't cut down Satanism years ago because I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I just thought they worship devil and Baphomet and all of this, and I did not understand it. And now I have a better, although a baby kind of understanding of it.
He's a little baby Satanist. Well, symbolism is the one thing that we're not going to make the show solely based on, bashing. But, I always have to say that all of the imagery is something that, Christians have always been able to go, oh, that's evil. Oh, that's the devil, this, that, the other thing, because they're not pretty frilly-nilly angelic looking beings. But not understanding what, let's say, Baphomet represents. It's what it represents. And, I always have said this, too, throughout the years, that although I love what black metal, has done with that imagery, because, the more blasphemous, the better, right? I love that shit. Who the hell does it? But when you get down to bare bones about it, though, it's all kind of like make-believe, hokum, and fucking, what do you call it? Superstition. And who gave us that? The Christians. Christians gave us all of that superstitious bullshit. So, it made it easy for black metal to just go completely the other way because of their own religious oppression in their countries. And don that as the moniker for things. But obviously, the great Magus Anton LaVey definitely put it all right into perspective on what Satanism actually is. So this is gonna be a blast, and we'll kind of share some thoughts as we go throughout. So I'm gonna bring this up, and I love the title of this video too. Literally says Christian reaction, Watain malfeiter, I believe is how you say that. Maybe, possibly, we'll see.
Maybe malfeiter, I don't know.
You never know. So let's go ahead and see what these fucking hobjobs have to say about it.
I'm Van.
I'm sorry.
Babe, this is about to be a historical moment.
Every time you say that at the beginning of one of the things, babe, I think I did something that it's not properly set up. The light's on, it's a camera, lights, camera, action. Okay, why is it historical?
Because we're about to listen to a true cult, authentic black metal song.
Oh, really? How do we know that it is?
I've got the big homie Solomon Kane. I vetted this song through him. He told me.
Oh,
Let me stop it right there for just a second. Did he just say cult?
Mm-hmm.
Cult. Really?
I think he's saying it kind of in the same way as a lot of the black metal bands use that word with the Norwegian spelling or the
sure.
Germanic spelling with the U being a V. I
Right.
see that in black metal. I just have never pursued it very much.
I mean, but of course, these two dickheads are going to take it as that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And we continue.
He said this is legit black metal.
remember the last time when we listened to Ghost, and then I couldn't take it seriously, and all the while that's the whole thing about that band. Like,
Ghost.
so many people said, yeah, it's not to be taken seriously.
Well, yeah, a lot of people said that, but then a couple people were like, no.
Really?
lead
Because
singer's like a
Papa
legit singer.
Emeritus
Yeah,
is
but it was an overwhelming number of people
has
said
gone
it's
on the
not to be
record
taken
as
seriously.
being
Well,
a
yeah, I
Satanist,
mean,
so
but that's the
fuck
thing.
off.
Like, that's my theory about Ghost.
That's the
Maybe they're like
perception thing.
putting it out there, ha, 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 but then they're sneaking all the devil stuff in there with a catchy tune that you can't get out of your head,
True.
But these guys aren't trying to do anything. Like, they're like straight up, like Solomon Kane. Like I think he recently saw them, and they throw blood across, across the on the
that's
fence
so.
or whatever.
Oh my
Look
And
on
he
her
goes,
face
dude, it
of
was real blood.
terror.
Now
I
don't
love it.
know
I bet you she's starting to
What it came
sweat.
from.
how he knows that it was real
Well,
blood.
he was probably there.
Well, yeah, but how does he know? Did he taste it?
Stop it.
Oh yeah, they're
That's what-
throwing
and
big.
I guess
Shut
they
the
like
fuck
put
up.
blood
This guy
on
is
the
terrible.
front row of like they
Oh.
So these guys are like,
So does Twin Temple,
Real
but
life.
nobody bitches.
I don't know how to pronounce their name. Is it Watain? I don't know, but it's Watain, and the name of the song is Malfeitor. I think is how you pronounce it. Mal, the prefix.
I'm
prefix
so gross. I never really got over that behemoth thing where they were putting the blood in the girl's mouth. That like
Oh,
gross.
really? Yeah, it's
Sometimes I think about it, and I can just
pretty
gag.
gnarly. Pretty gnarly. The name of this song is Malfeitor. Now, the prefix mal in Latin means bad. Like malignant or malice, or I don't know what fetor means. So it's probably bad something. Bad something. Probably means angel or something like that.
Bad
but anyway,
Christian.
the name of the song is Malfeitor. This is a true cult black metal song. Listen, if this is not black metal, then I don't want to hear it. Like, seriously.
There's gonna be somebody. Actually,
this is onyx metal.
So they couldn't
Not the
have
same.
gone with Gorgoroth
Yeah.
or
No, this is
someone like
black
this.
metal.
I'm
So
getting Inspector Christian to know that.
yeah.
Surprised they
And you
didn't go
guys
with
are pretty
Mayhem.
educated for Christian. All right, so here we go. Malfeitor, let's do it.
All right.
I'm so excited.
This album is called
You know what? I
Lawless
think if I take the mute
Darkness,
off, that would
in
help.
case you're interested.
This always happens.
Not always.
I just ginned myself up to listen to this.
So did I.
To the
I was
evil.
like, "Ooh."
Yeah, we got our white shirts
Because
on.
they're
We're not
Christians
playing
that are
around.
feeling like, ooh, I'm doing
We're
something
ready.
naughty.
Let's go. Come on, baby.
Okay.
Oh, they believe they're fighting the ranks of Satan.
Sure they are. Which is why they have that orb behind them.
See, Father. Look at that shit.
That's their hot topic orb.
So they picked a live performance.
Yeah.
I swear they did this shit on purpose. Absolutely love their grooves.
Yep. This album is
I like that they
amazing.
get the whole crowd in it.
See, they're like loving it.
Oh yeah, they actually say a lot of positive things about it. they're really into the lyrics. They like to break down the lyrics. It drives me fucking nuts. They're so into the lyrics.
Everybody out there in Black Flame Land, this isn't really typical black metal, though.
I missed seeing them just over a year ago with Mayhem because they wouldn't get, the United States would not give them visas to enter. It's a cool stage.
I can just tell she's so fucking uncomfortable. I love it. That's why the camera's really on her. Are you hearing a hidden message there, lady?
She's holding back a satanic panic.
I can just see it welling up in her face. She's got the brow just above her nose crinkling.
She was raised in an extremely, like, almost Quaker-like family. Really, really right-wing Christian.
I'm missing a lot of it. You're not explaining it. Really?
There he said it. They're going to hell.
I mean, all he said was the devil is in my kiss. That could mean so many other things.
I want to ask him where hell is.
Okay, so obviously Malfetor is a deity name. I'll have to look it up. We've seen this with Behemoth before too. Bart Sabel, that song. That's about an ancient demon that's supposedly back in like the beginning of time type shit.
And what about Iron Serpent? They did one.
What do these two fuckers think though? You're watching
Oh, yeah. and the one
Black
with my
metal.
father I will do.
It's like you already know it's not for you. So why is this so important? I mean, I get it. They're probably little missionaries at heart.
Because this is prompt so that they can get our right.
Yeah.
Hi, the comment section. You guys fucking rock. I love you. Welcome, Paul. Welcome, Babylon. She wants Satan's salami. I'm dying. I'm dying. Tyler says more Christian are more cult like. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right. I missed a ton of the lyrics. Obviously, I want to go over those.
What were you doing?
Well, I was listening to the music, and the visuals were,
the storytelling
kind of sucked you in.
So you were just focusing on the visuals.
Yeah, the visuals I thought were at the beginning when the music started. Musically,
she really does.
I liked it, and then when the whole crowd goes, I like it when
like,
everybody
possessed you, possess me.
Everybody's like, because you got to know, like I grew up. You guys know I grew up in a Christian household, and so we would do different. Yeah, but you guys were different. You guys did things that I wouldn't have even been allowed to hang out with you.
No.
That's not because you were brown either.
Did I say anything about me being brown?
I didn't know if you were thinking it or making it look like that. That's not what it was. It was just that we were very...
protest too much. Go ahead.
Stop it. We were just very, very strict. And so whenever we did something, it was like, always, stop it. This is not true.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
My parents did ministry with your people.
Right.
Anyway, so...
In the jail?
No, it was not.
Go ahead.
Although my dad did do ministry in the jail. I'm very proud of him for that. Still does.
Oh, shit balls.
Okay.
Anyway.
So anytime that they always did something, like, so it just made you feel like really dumb and like
what
odd.
Do you mean?
What do you mean?
What made you feel dumb?
Well, they would try to get everybody in.
I feel dumb just listening to
this
stupid
everybody cheer and like at the different youth events, and nobody would.
Both of them.
The corny ass youth rallies,
so
and then you'd be like, "Isn't that great?"
No,
they're very cool
because I felt embarrassed. You know how I am with stuff like that. And so the more they really tried to rally everybody, the more people didn't want to rally with it. So it never really went good. So like when people get like a crowd going and everybody's like, ah! But they're not just like, yeah, you're like, ah! Everybody's like, they're into the whole thing themselves.
They love them some Beelzebub, that's for sure. They love them some Bubsy.
Quickly, Beelzebub, fill his mouth full of flies.
What was that symbol thing that they lit up? I mean, it looked like an upside, you know what it looked like to me? An upside down cross attached to the pitchfork.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Babylon Sun says she was getting dehydrated.
But yeah, I saw a kid
with
like a
she's
bloody
so
shirt.
hot
I was like, maybe they put some of the
just doesn't want to admit it
or something like that. These guys, look, if this guy, like, because I see like Nergal in like, you know, Instagram, and I'm like, oh, okay, like he's a regular dude. You know, like he's got
they all are
stage presence, but he's not like the devil. Like I can't wait to talk to him.
Oh, I know, yeah.
This young fella.
This gentleman here.
This individual.
Nergal is not going to want to talk to you.
If he's just a regular dude, like if he isn't really devoted to Beelzebub, then he's a damn good actor, and he's missed his calling. He needs to go into Hollywood and shit because it's not. I mean, he looks like he's like really sold out to the devil.
Yeah, and he said some pretty crazy things.
So before we continue this diatribe of bullshit, let me just say that this Christian has been cursing throughout the video, which I find completely hilarious. I don't know if that's just his way of wanting to connect with people. But I've seen a lot of hypocrisies here, especially just them talking to each other. Fucking hilarious.
Now,
but
how they start like trying to use scripture as they're going through the lyrics and stuff like that. It's just, God, kill me now.
I mean, she just seemed so taken by the imagery that she didn't read the words, like she is under a spell. I just, you know, it just kills me. And then to turn around and say, oh, Nergal's a regular good guy. I mean, do you really know him? Do you know that he fights Christianity propaganda in his country to like the fullest fucking extent? He's a professed Satanist, and you just think he's good. He's a regular guy. And you don't think that the rest of the black metal guys are a regular guy? They're people too, you idiot. It's like, come on, man. Just because Watain's not on, Behemoth's level doesn't make them beneath him. You know what I'm saying? That I mean, sure. I mean, we are the elite for a reason, but not all of us are, prim proper and wear super nice clothes and all that glamorous bullshit just because they got money. We don't have to. That's why you never know who's a Satanist and who isn't, people.
Mm-hmm.
We're all from different walks of life and just different people. But we got one philosophy in common, and that's what brings us together. So you said somewhere
1328. I think we're getting close to that.
Yep. You know what, Kyler? I couldn't have said it better. I hope they react to this reaction. That would be fucking great. Oh, Paul, you naughty boy. $20 says she's a freak in bed, but not with him. I love it. She looked like she was enjoying some, riding the Beelzebub train to paradise. All right, let's get back to it here. We're up for some more goodies.
He said some pretty crazy shit.
I didn't catch what you were like. They're going to hell. When you got to that part, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was something sexual.
Yeah. When we get to it, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Okay.
Because I still think that God does open up the ground and bring people down alive into Sheol. I still think he does that.
You do?
So the fact that didn't happen to this guy after that line, I'm like, whoo, hot fire.
Okay, so you want to delve into these lyrics?
Yeah.
Well, what did you think of it musically?
The music was great.
Now, how come these bands always have good music?
If that were true, he would be on fire right now for cursing.
Well, it does, because the word in the KJV is your pipes.
Yes.
But in you know where I'm going.
I do.
But in the original Hebrew, it really wasn't your pipes. But anyway, there's the idea that Satan was like on the worship team of heaven.
Yeah.
And that he was like,
oh, what's she drinking there?
So like,
doesn't
it
look
seems
like
like
water.
It's not moonshine, it's water.
Liar.
Everybody always asks.
The more satanic the group is, like the more musically and lyrically gifted they are.
Right.
Because Satan was on the worship team in heaven. I'm not sure, because when he gets described, it talks about your pipes, like he was like this brilliant musician or whatever. That's how you would interpret it if you read it from the KJV. I think it's Ezekiel 28.
He just made that up.
14 off the top of my head. So yeah, so there. I do want to talk about one thing though about these guys, and it happened again when you're talking about Nergal and a girl drinking the blood, and you look at it, that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then I talked about how
she didn't look disgusting.
Yeah.
She looked like she was getting into
literally doing.
Yeah.
Body, blood, soul, and divinity. You're eating like a human's flesh and drinking human blood. That's what they say. Literally, that's what's happening.
Yeah, I've heard of people that said that when they went and like they would put the little wafer in their mouth and like the thought of it, like because they teach that it literally turns into his body, like it like made them feel like that they were going to gag because they were like, oh my gosh, there's a piece of flesh in my mouth.
Right.
Even though it was still the wafer.
Well, there's a lot of
That crazy.
Who's the real cult?
Yeah, no shit.
She just said that you're taught to believe that you are literally drinking Jesus's blood, and the wafer is, as we all know this, is supposed to basically be flesh of his broken body, right? So and she's laughing about it, but yet when it comes to Watain, or Nurgle putting blood in some chick's mouth, which was probably strawberry, flavored. Who fucking knows? I'm just so bothered by that. But let me eat the body of Jesus. I'm okay with this.
Now, Daniel, what's his name? I think it's Daniel Erickson is the lead singer for Watain.
Mm-hmm.
I did read an article either in Terrorizer magazine or Decibel magazine. I think it was Terrorizer,
could be both.
More than 10 years ago. And he did talk about how he has become sick many times. And anyways, he's been sick many times because he actually does use pig's blood.
Well, then he's just fucking stupid then.
And he wears the same leather vest, and it has the pig's blood in it over and over every fucking show that he does that. When he pours, he has that blood, and he's gotten sick several times. That's just dumbassery. Go for it. I mean, but he's doing theatrics. That's what he wants to do. Which is
fine.
He got the blood from a slaughterhouse. Those two people right there probably eat pig. And so if they're eating the flesh of the pig, they are eating pig blood, even though it's been cooked. So shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Babylon Sun says flesh in her mouth. What have we been saying about this lady this whole time? I mean, you can see it in her face. She's just a closet fucking freak. Come on.
Well,
oh my goodness. Kyler says the power of Christmas compels you.
A lot of these people, when they're held down by Christianity in their childhood, and then when they finally come out, I mean, some of my best girlfriends in high school were Latter-day Saints. They were amazing compared to the other girls. They were awesome.
She's like, I'll show you what it's like to be in bed with a saint.
Oh, this brings back good memories.
I bet it does. Oh, Babylon Sun, I love it. He says, Jesus, the original vampire zombie. Dante Lira says, chorizo. Well, he obviously likes the sausage. So, anyhow. Brainwashed and freaks in the sheets. Oh man, I'm tired.
Really?
My Dark Queen says, hello, I'm here to jump on the Beelzebub pleasure train. Oh, you guys are the fucking best, I swear.
So, like, one of the funny things that's about to happen is you're going to hear him. He loves to talk about the Hebrew translation. He tries to act like he's some scholar, as if there's
wiped his ass with it.
Zero question, as if there's zero gray area for what he's talking about. He's about, you're going to see how pompous he is. And like, I especially love it when Christians start to talk about the book of Revelation. Book of Revelation is so symbolic and so fucking whacked out there. And when they start to talk about, make predictions and about how this shit is going to happen, and I'm just like, I'm turned off right there. Okay, you guys have all your human invention and all of your human make-believe, and you have no credibility and no integrity with me now.
Remember, these are the people that also don't believe that dinosaurs were real. So,
and from what I understand, with new understanding of Satanism, is we don't do this type of shit. Like, we are very much about people's freedom and your freedom to think, yeah, we're going to criticize this kind of bullshit because they attack us all the time. And so, yeah, we're going to attack them and they're bullshit. But I like to attack their make-believe and their human invention.
We encourage indulgence, and that does not include anything criminal or that could kill you. Okay. It's just that basically everything that this book of fables tells all of, some of the folks out there in the masses that, they're so-called sins, that there is nothing wrong with those. And that includes pleasure. That includes, freedom to be yourself. Obviously, if somebody throws a punch at you, you come after them with a sledgehammer. I mean, it's just, it's very simple things. It's about our animalistic, natural instincts within ourselves. These were always with us. This had nothing to do with some sky daddy who gave us all these things, but says you can't use them, right?
Right.
I mean, obviously there are morals. Don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. You know what I mean? Don't bring harm to someone. But it's like they just think we're killing things on a regular basis. So, don't get me started. There's like well over 50 instances within the Bible where God tells his followers to kill people and animals to him.
Mm-hmm.
This is proof. But yet it's all us, right?
Oh,
anyways, let's see what else these fucktards have to say.
Invented Roman Catholic miracles where
I've heard of that.
the wafer then turns into this piece of bloody flesh. You know what I mean? So call it what you will. But
that's
what
a
I
miracle.
said was, yes, the imagery looks gross, but at the same time, that's what we're saying is happening. So how can you say that it's gross when it originated first in the Bible?
Wait a minute, is
Probably
he trying to
because I
defend
never
the
thought it
performance
was
now?
actually his blood or actually his flesh.
Okay. So
I always thought it was what he said. It was a symbol.
okay, so this guy, remember when I talked about, I was kind of setting you up because I wanted to see what you were going to say. This guy takes blood and douses the front row with it.
Yeah.
And he puts blood on the front row, and you're like, oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's Exodus
20.
20.
Oh, I know they did it in
I'm
Exodus.
going to read it. Here's Exodus 24.
And I always felt grossed out about that too.
He said, this is Exodus 24, verse 5. It's talking about Moses. He sent young men of the people of Israel who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen to the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he threw against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. And they said, all that the Lord has spoken we will do, we will be obedient. Verse 8, and Moses took the blood and threw it on the people. He said, behold, the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words.
But yet that's supposed
I
to be us.
remember that I asked you about this years ago.
Yeah.
And because it always disturbed me, but this was one of the questions that I couldn't
And
ask.
what version of
I
the
couldn't
book
be like,
was
yo,
that, by
our
the way?
religion is effed up. Like, what is this? So I always had like these looming questions in my mind. And so when I met you, I was like, I asked you, and then you explained to me, if I remember correctly, you told me
Because
the penalty or the consequence of sin was death. And that's what God had told the people. So something died to show them, look, this is what your sin does, is it brings death. So when he like sprinkled them all with this blood, and then they look around and everybody has like this blood on them, it was supposed to remind them, like, this is when we sin or do things that are wrong, we don't all.
I'm going to stop them right there. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Exactly. This is what
that was a clear instance where through fear they killed something and threw it on the people. This is what she just said, her fucking words, that, hey, look, this is what happens if, you don't, be a good little sheep. That is absolutely terrorism right there. That is trying to make you fearful that, oh, if I step out of line. But it was kind of also funny on the other token. I don't know if you guys out there in the Black Flame comment section there, did it not sound like dude was trying to defend the performance for a second? He was like, oh, you said it was gross that he was throwing blood out there, but if you look in the Bible, they throw blood too. I was like, wait a minute. You don't know what fucking side you're on, do you? Probably because deep down, this guy knows he's wrong with what he's saying. you know, Babylon son, the god of love, loves blood offerings.
Mm-hmm.
Paul says they should review Guar and see the giant blender. Exactly. That'd probably really throw them for a loop.
I got shot by that cannon when I saw Gore. It was coming straight at my face. I put my hands up like this to shield my eyes, and then I went like this, and then I I shook my hands, and I lost my wedding band. I couldn't find it the whole show, but I found it under the front rail at the very front of the stage after the show.
I mean, what I'm taking away from this, and this is what most, you know, a little bit more, let's say, hardcore black metal acts, you know, it's like watching a horror movie.
Yeah.
And that's fine. What the fuck is wrong with that? We want to be entertained. They referenced Ghost, which, again, their lead singer, Papa Emeritus, is a professed in public Satanist. That, yeah, there's a reason all those undertones are in there, because he is one, legit, like King Diamond. Same thing. But they also all understand that the more blasphemous you make it, the better it is, because we just think that everyone else is ridiculous with these stupid sins and these stupid rules. Can't it just be so much simpler than this? And how worship something that doesn't exist? I'm sorry. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, you are free, whatever makes you feel happy, but as long as you're not a dick, fine.
Well, as long as they're not trying to influence politics and they're not trying to push an agenda nationally, like we had in the 80s with the Satanic Panic and the labeling of albums, which actually made them probably sell more.
That's what made metal as popular and dominant as it was until, you know, glam took over for the latter part. And it just became all about how much money you can have, how much partying you can do, and all that crazy stuff. But yeah, nothing jump-started, you know, the Satanic Panic like those first 3 years of the 80s, man. I mean, Slayer, all of them gave them a run for their money. Venom, all of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, actually, Babylon Sun actually pulled it out. He said, without shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness. And that's in Hebrews 9:22. Where in Anton's great book, The Satanic Bible, does it say to use blood for anything?
I haven't heard that at all. See, those are the things that I want you to bring out, because I haven't read that in the book, but I know you know that book inside and out better than I do. And I wanted
brother, my book literally has fallen apart. I had to retape it. That's how much I've read it over the last 20 plus years. Okay, I can't wait to see what the next part of their little conversation is.
Always see the bad consequences of it. It can kind of look like it's not that bad, but like the blood everywhere is supposed to remind people that all the things that they were doing that were wrong inevitably is bringing death.
Yeah, and in you know, you got it. No, that's what I
told
you. And in this
follow
specific
blindly.
Context, you hear the word covenant, right? And the term covenant.
I love Covenant. They're a great band.
An agreement, a contract.
Yeah.
It's a contract, but a more relational contract. You're going to be my God. I'm going to be your people. Mm-hmm. And so we're all together. So when he reads,
is that right?
And so in the ancient Near East, you would read this, the terms of the contract, mm-hmm. and you would have to decide whether or not you were going to enter into this contract.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times,
Christians are in contract with
if
a
I
God
break this
that doesn't
contract,
exist.
I'll die.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how real it is. Like wow. I will keep hold of this contract until death.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're under contract to our fucking selves.
Yep.
right? So this is outside of the religious context. This is just how they operated in the ancient Near East.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
So you notice what Moses says in verse 7. He says he reads the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. So he goes, here are the terms. And they said, all the Lord has spoken, we will do, we'll be obedient. So basically God said, I'm going to be your God. I'm going to set everything up for you. You're going to live great, and you're going to be my people. You're going to worship only me, da-da-da-da. They said, okay, we got it. We'll do it. Then Moses throws all this blood on them. And the idea is we're going to stay within our covenant with Yahweh. And if we break it, our blood's on our own heads, basically. So you see there's blood.
That is the most whacked out thing I've ever heard.
Israelite, you're seeing blood and you're seeing blood, and it's like
shock value.
All right,
sure, I get it.
Like this is a blood oath. We're going to keep covenant with Yahweh.
Yep.
And so it would have been a very bloody. It was a pretty gross moment. You think about it.
Oh, it's disgusting.
And,
in Satanism, we're taught to worship ourselves.
Animals had been sacrificed,
and the thing
all that
is,
shit.
you don't have
no masters,
modern showers
kneeling.
to go throw yourself in and soap
I mean,
up
if you're going to throw
face.
blood on yourself, it's because you're,
that's why I say, like,
listening
a lot
to
of
a
times,
Sam
like,
Hain
when
record.
These guys go out and do that crazy shit. It's like, oh, this is so disgusting and gross, and it's like, well, they're getting it from our book. So if you're saying, then you're basically
here we go.
saying that the Bible.
Now he's saying we're stealing from the little
book.
Of
course, there's a subliminal in there, and the subliminal was it wasn't their blood; it was the blood of somebody else. In this book, right? And so the Christian story is we all go covenant with God, and instead of God saying, "Okay, I'm gonna kill you for it," Jesus sheds His blood.
Right.
So He takes
our
place.
Should have been, because we made that.
Right.
Yeah. That's
so in the New Testament, that same language is applied, but instead of the blood being outside of us, the blood is inside of us because we drink it during communion, right? So I mean, the idea of the blood of the covenant is still there. Only now it's a human sacrifice. All right. So
can't we see that this is human invention and human make-believe? The way he speaks as if he just witnessed this, and he's so matter of fact, and he's talking about things from thousands of years ago.
I'm with you, Kyler, all the way on this one. He says, wait. So you're telling me God said, hey, you're my people and I'm your God, worship me? I mean, essentially, that is what he said. But he also said the one thing that I love, pretentious Christians always say this type of shit. I am your God, but you are only to worship me. So where did the free will come from? Because, I mean, every human in existence from the very beginning was given free will to choose. And this is like across the board in life. As long as you're not, doing something horrible, committing a murder or this or that. Although many of God's people seem to love to do that. Hello, the Crusades. Let's talk about that for a second. I would love to see this guy's reaction to that statement. Can he even answer that? Or he's going to say, oh, well, that's just the way things were done back then. Because that's what he said. He said that's just the way things were done in Moses. But when the New Testament came out, the blood was only supposed to be within us.
Well, the churches and the theologians spent hundreds and thousands of years excuses for their bullshit. He has an answer for everything.
Oh yeah, he's pretty quick with it. I'll give him that.
It's
hell of a salesman.
Bullshit.
Bet he sells used cars for a living.
Yeah. See, I'm not a sheep, so there's no way I'm following any of this shit he says. It's fucking common sense.
But he even goes as far as to say that Watain's lead vocalist stole the throwing of the blood from that little part in their little Bible. Well, I mean, in the Satanic Bible, there is no throwing of anything. Except throw away your napkin, And Kyle, it's kind of funny you say that too, because I do get a feeling of this every once in a while. It's almost like it's a scripted video. I'm sure they probably prepared it like it was, Sunday sermon.
Well, I think they've done this so much, they're just parroting what they hear from their Christian chat groups and from their preacher on Sunday. And they go.
And what I found really interesting is that he said he actually likes the music.
Oh, yeah. That album is really, really good. It was voted in the top 5 albums, I think, of 2010. Lawless Darkness. It's a really, really good album.
Oh, I dig them, man. I absolutely dig it. And of course, it hasn't been since, Mayhem that a full on, heads butchered off pigs and stuff on stage on pikes and shit. I thought that shit was great. Not because that is what I do on an average weekend. It's because it looks cool for dramatic effect. And I really don't believe that. And maybe there are some black metal bands that do take it to that theistic route. I'm sure there is. As a matter of fact, Glenn Benton of Deicide once was very theistic with it.
Mm.
And he's kind of come out. He's still a Satanist, but I think he's realized that none of that shit's for real.
Yeah.
Maybe he must have finally, got a copy of Anton's works and was like, this is what it is.
So in Anton's work, isn't it really what he's teaching is atheistic Satanism?
Absolutely. That's he made it very distinct and very open that there are 2 types of Satanists in this world. 1 is Satanism, 2 is devil worship. Devil worship is something completely different. And, he even kind of traced it through history as well in the book. So it's like, there's always been devil worshipers because they were probably convinced by Christians that the devil actually exists. So because they don't like what the other side is saying, they decided to go with the darker, thinking they could be successful. The original Black Mass was absolutely 100,000% created. And it's been documented through time that it was created to simply do orgiastic type things and worship the devil as a way to say, thank you for giving me all of my earthly possessions. The Black Mass in the actual Satanic Bible written by Anton has nothing to do with any of that. Is there imagery? Is there form of ritual? He believed that for anyone to be free, to be happy, there always has to be some kind of ritual about what you do, but it's not going to give, they're not going to, the business not going to open up. There's not going to be like, like in the horror movies and sensationalized by music and television. That's not what happens, people. You just work yourself.
I love calling out their make-believe. Like earlier, he talked about the earth is going to open up and, people are going to go down into the pit. I love calling that out. How is that not fucking crazy? We need to hold them accountable. Most of us have been raised around Christianity, or we have Christianity in our culture so much that we're just like, yeah, we just accept it. We really don't question it. No, we need to have a full stop right here when they're saying like this. And this happens all the time. They make up all kinds of stuff that I have never seen any big miracle like this ever. Are there things with energy that I have seen? Yes, but not these big sweeping miracles, the science fiction type stuff. That is fucking make-believe.
Oh, that's why I damn near choked on my bourbon when she said that there were instances where the wafer actually turned to flesh and blood. Really?
They
Do you
document.
really think so? Did somebody just switch it with a cheeseburger and you said, holy shit balls?
They will act like that has been documented. I think they did say that in there, that yes, this has been documented by the church, probably meaning the Catholic Church.
Who actually
Yeah.
holds some of the most important things since long before Christianity. Like I said, if we could get just a peek into that vault, all of their kingdom would fall. I'm telling you, they just don't want you to know. It's like the biggest ruse in history. Let's see what else they have to say, because this just gets even more meaty.
These guys haven't gone as far as the Bible because
That's
the
so
Bible.
weird. I know that I've like made that connection, but not particularly with this story.
Oh, we needed
Like,
Watain.
Yeah, I know. Well,
help
thanks
us.
for
Thank you.
I guess.
Malfador. Okay, so I just wanted to point, not in defense of Satanists or anything like that, but like for Christians to like automatically cringe and say, "Oh, this is disgusting. This is crazy." It like betrays a lack of understanding of the Old Testament and lack of understanding of like.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So he has to justify
came up
the
with
music
this stuff,
with
this craziness before
Christianity.
them, right?
Oh my
And
God.
of course, we pour a ton of like metaphorical import into it. I don't know what the metaphor is here. When he's throwing blood on people, I don't know. I mean, what is he saying? Is he saying they're in covenant with the devil? Is he saying they're in covenant with death? A lot of these.
I mean, he
bands seem
did
to be very
literally
obsessed with the
say
concept of
that
death as an
his
end in
father,
itself.
the devil.
I don't know why he's doing it. I'm just saying, not in defense, but I mean, we do it too. So, and we say all types of crazy things. I'm washed in the blood.
Right.
We say all types of crazy things about blood.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I've heard that one a lot.
It's not.
It's true, but you grew up on it, so it's your norm.
Right. Which, if
But that was never a norm for me. That Exodus passage never.
Right, you
was a
always
norm.
had
I always had
How
a
about
problem with
the
that.
ashes on
I
the
always had a problem
forehead?
with that.
That's always
You
been
know what's
a fun
weird?
one
I
for
always
me.
had a problem with the sacrificing of the animals in the Old Testament, but I didn't have a problem with the sacrifice of Jesus. Isn't that weird?
You're a strange young woman.
Because
All
I
right.
felt like he wanted to do it. I mean, how's the animal gonna know? But anyway, okay.
By the blessing of shunned gods,
Oh, that's interesting.
the court of life. This is going to be such a long review. Oh my goodness, because he says so much.
So is it gonna be a two-parter?
No. If they want to watch
Prepare
it, they watch it.
yourselves.
The cord of life was deformed, twisted into a noose to strangle the miscarriage of the eye. Okay, by the blessing of shunned gods.
Okay, I'm guessing because Satan was sent out of heaven,
Yes.
so shunned in that sense.
Yes, but notice it says gods plural, not just
Exactly, you
Yeah, there was
fucking dolt.
multiple angels that were sent out at the same time.
They're not talking about angels, motherfucker. Okay.
So what do you get from that though?
That they were blessing them. They were seeking the people were seeking the blessings of the angels who had been sent out of heaven. They were seeking their blessing.
So here's something really interesting that a lot of people
Oh my
won't know. And
God.
I've said this before in our chats that I'm a henotheist. And henotheism is the idea that there's one main capital G God, but then there are like a pantheon of like lesser gods. And what's interesting is if you look at Psalm chapter 82, Psalm 82 says, God presides in the great assembly. He renders judgment among the gods. This is a modern, ESV translation, right?
No.
So the audience that God is speaking to are gods, right?
You're actually in the NIV right now, but they all have that.
They all have that.
Ooh,
So
did he
the
just
people
say that
God are speaking to are
Christianity
gods in
does
Psalm 82.
recognize other gods?
And then later on it says, I said that you were gods, children of the Most High, but you will die like men, and you will fall like any prince. So what's interesting is that there are beings in the Old Testament who are called gods, who are bad guys, who God says, I'm going to destroy you
instantly.
Right.
at the end. I'm gonna mess you up because you guys are wreaking havoc all over the world. So when it says by blessing of shunned gods, I believe that they're gods, not in the sense of like
great
they
mighty
have creative
guru,
power or anything
tell
like that,
me what the
that
fuck
have
they were doing across the
supernatural
world.
ability that if a normal person ran into them, they would look at them as a divine being. They're called B'nai Elohim.
Yes,
If you read the intertestamental literature and Enoch and things like that, you can see that these beings were worshipped as gods. So when you say that there's only one true God, or when you see God being called the Most High, what it means is there are other beings, but that Yahweh is the Most High.
So in other words, what he just said is that apparently their god has an Oedipus complex. He's got to be the top of everybody.
Yep. He's a jealous god.
Did you see the hypocrisy there, folks, out there in Black Flame Land? If you've puked by now, I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better, because it really does make you want to retch. The way he is trying to justify the lyrics in this song is that everything is metaphorical and somehow related to the Bible, so it's okay to enjoy the song. What?
I know. He has nothing to back that up. That's how he is. It's okay. Like, whatever happened to the scientific method with people like this, where you actually have to have some sort of evidence to make a logical assertion.
Conclusion? Yeah.
He's just making shit up. He didn't talk to Daniel Erickson about this.
Nope. This is all speculation. So I think he feels he's being naughty, or maybe he's trying to get, I'm assuming that this is his wife, to like the music that he listens to. And this is his way of swaying, brainwashing, into believing it's okay because of this. Now, isn't that cult-like behavior? Oh my goodness. Kyler says the ego on this guy. Yes. Because I literally think he sits down with his little, puny fucking brain and tries to find any kind of excerpt that comes close to what comes up against some of the lyrical content in here to justify why this person may have been saying it, and that, they're fake or phony, or this is all just, for show and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, how more out there could the line have been when he says, "My father, the devil," or yeah, that was it. And that, Malfeeder is another name for the devil. We've seen this across black metal. They're using all different names that have shown up in so many different cultures because it's more interesting than the same motherfucker saying Lucifer, Satan, and all this shit. And let's be honest, Christians created the word Satan in the first place. Satan is not a being. He is not an omnipotent red horned guy with hooves. That was their creation. Now, what I'm seeing on my side of things, because, I'm always like very interested in lyrical content. I love stories. So what I've been seeing in black metal is a trend of these guys are like getting into the occult, like so deep as far as like history and stuff like that, that they find some of these ancient names that no one's ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. And they use them. Sure, it's metaphorical. It's metaphorical for a legend, and in a lot of cases, they end up being, what do you call those things? Urban legends in their own countries.
Yeah, they're using this material to make their horror show come to life. Their stage show.
Exactly.
Their lyrics are a part of that. The darkness in the tone is all a part of that.
Yeah, and I think we've said that, from the very beginning of the show tonight, that most of these black metal bands, especially European black metal bands, are so religious oppressed that this is what they are fighting against. Oh, you couldn't have said it better. Thank you, Babylon Sun. It's art, people. Because if they did half the shit that they sing about, wouldn't they all be in prison on death row? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like they just don't get it. They don't get it. Just like Ghost. but yet they can stomach Ghost. But apparently old dude seems to like this band, which they should. The music's great. And the stage show is very interesting. I love the burning trident with the upside down cross that comes from it. I did that on my face paint. I don't know how many times, not because of Watain, but just because I love the symbolism there. Power, the adversary. That's what these things mean. But they're trying to say that it's all stems from the Bible. They got to Christianize everything, even when it goes against the grain of what any of their friends, family, or church would have to say about this. It's like, come the fuck on, man. It just goes to show me and all of you out there in Black Flame Land, anybody can take a book and find ways to adapt to what they're into as a way to justify why it is they like it. What do you kind of take away from this, Hoof Beast?
Say, you're going to hell. They can always fall back on that. But this dude,
this mythical hell, I mean, I would love to see it.
Yeah. Talk about hell. And is that shit not crazy? Like, if we break down what I was taught what hell was, when I was young, like, that's a scary place. I saw in books pictures of all kinds of devils and flames and only
it's
light
fantastic.
Flames and suffering, torture, and I just love to call out their make-believe, and how I love it when they call other people crazy, and then just
right.
Okay, where's the evidence for all of this? It does not exist. And then they'll come up. This guy has these convoluted, long-worded explanations for all this shit because he's been trained to speak this way.
Obviously. I mean, it's pretty clear because you could clearly see that at first this lady, his wife, obviously, was absolutely mortified at what she was seeing. But through maybe a minute or two into the song, she seemed like she was liking it. So it's like they're still trying to say it's all wrong, it's all bad. But I still can't get over the fact that he tried to say that Nurgle is a normal guy, but yet he must never have heard him speak in any interview or anything and just thinks it's all a hoax. It's not with him. It's never been with Behemoth. That's always been their belief system.
Big time.
And I'm sure a lot of the other Norwegian metal bands, black metal bands are very much, Satanists themselves. But they all know the same thing, that if they do it bigger and badder and darker than anyone else, people are going to love the fuck out of them. Mm-hmm. Because people love to have the shit scared out of them. Who floods to see horror movies more than the general populace? And I'm sure most of them are Christians. They love having the shit scared out of them. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't be going into the movie theater. Correct? Yes. Mm. So that's kind of their point. It's not that they're pulling the wool over your eyes or anything. It's just dark imagery, symbolism. And like dude even said, and he seems to get it in a very convoluted, fucked up way. It's all for funsies, but the symbolism is real. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand why, though. And, kudos to anyone who is happy with what they believe. I'm not going to tell you what the fuck to believe. That's not what we do. I always have to say it. We don't show up at your door going, knock, knock. Would you like to hear the unholy word of the Dark Lord?
Yeah.
Maybe we should, just to see what would happen. That would be hilarious, I don't know. That just hurt me in my head so bad. I feel like we all have suffered through this just awful diatribe of stupid shit, man.
And they're so sure of themselves.
That's the funny part. Because that's just,
Like
truth, right?
from
Not truth.
what I understand in this, we don't make up all kinds of miracles and things like that. There's no stories like that. This is more of kind of a book about how to conduct yourself, how to protect yourself, how to conjure destruction against somebody who's fucked with you and fucking deserves it. And it, like, the theme also is be open-minded, research all kinds of things in there.
That you can learn everything from every culture, honestly. But there's nothing in there. There's no killing things. You don't have to sacrifice anything. You don't have to destroy your firstborn or any of the superstitious bullshit that they have come up with hundreds of thousands of years ago. And then, of course, Hollywood wants to make a quick buck, so they're going to make it come to life on the big screen. And I think more than anything in the world, that type of stuff is what has convinced people that such things exist. Especially the based on a true story stuff. Do you ever see that on a black metal album?
No.
Based on a true story? No. Just because they don't have to, man. It's fucking art. And, I wish, the biggest sin, if you will, in true Satanism, Anton LaVey's Satanism, is stupidity. It's talked about and all over the place. It literally, his quote was, "I wish stupidity would hurt." Because people are just so caught up in a lie and they just think it's all real because they had somebody at a pulpit banging it into their head that this is it. This is what's real. This, I mean, that's why that particular faith has lasted this long. I don't know. I would not want to be in their shoes to think so stupidly. Well, this was a fucking blast. Go ahead.
Yeah. As I've told people before, I was with Jesus in the 90s. I'm glad I escaped. But during that time that I was with Jesus,
you were held captive.
I read
by the zombie Jesus.
Crazy. So if any of these Bible thumpers want to go toe to toe with me on the Bible and the meaning of it, I'll go with it, but I'm going to call them out when they insert all of their human invention and some guy at Bob Jones University, or who was that shithead, Billy Graham University, or Liberty, when their theologian has gone and told them how to interpret this stuff. Fuck you. Let's bring it on. Let's talk about that. I'm going to call out your make-believe. I'm going to call out your bullshit for what it is.
I mean, that's about as real as some asshole sitting behind a table with like a Swami do-rag on and a crystal ball sitting in the middle saying that I'm going to give you your fortune. So, I mean, there's idiocy on either side, in my opinion, because there are still so many people that even if they leave the conventional church, they exchange it for something else that is very Christianized, but it's, cloaked in the occult, and it's sad. But, it's okay for any type of person, doesn't matter what you believe, to like this kind of music, but don't sit there and pick it apart and tell the world. I don't even know how many people follow them on YouTube.
Quite a few.
And oh yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure it's a scary amount. But don't don't try to sit there, pick it apart, and say that it all relates to the Bible. I'm sorry. That's just passing on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just passing on this like superstitious belief that black metal bands are, don't going to hell.
Guys.
Good vibes to you as well, Mousebong. We thank you all. Your comments today, people, were over the top fantastical. We love it when you chime in with your thoughts on what you're seeing. Because, as always, you don't have to take it from us. I mean, you got your own set of eyes, your own brains. You sat through it with us. And like I said, I didn't even watch this thing. So you got full Reaper tonight. That's the honest to goodness truth. I did not watch that before tonight. So,
and you didn't even you didn't even watch a quarter of it. I didn't watch a quarter of it because I can't handle it. Once he started interjecting all of this Bible bullshit in there, I'm just like, holy.
Well, I could see where they were going, and it was very pleasant to see, though, that the two of them constantly fight with each other while they're doing their podcast. I think that's fucking hilarious. Oh no, I'm right. My version's right. No, my version's right. Well, I was taught. Aren't y'all supposed to be the part of the same team? Worship all that. Hell to the no.
They're having a hard time keeping the lies straight.
Thank you all so much for hanging and banging with us on this titillating Tuesday. And this was so much fucking fun. I definitely want to do it again. And if any of your friends missed it, pass it along. I'm sure they'll get a good fucking a good laugh out of it, or a puke, or suddenly come down with, some bad case of diarrhea, because that's what we witnessed tonight. And so definitely tune in tomorrow night, because guess what, people? Legendary doom metal vocalist Robert Lowe of Candlemass, Solitude Aeternus, and a whole host of other bands, currently DJ Samina, and he's got so many irons in the fire these days. He's in demand. Well, shit. That's because he's one of the best goddamn doom metal vocalists ever. Tune in tomorrow night, because guess what? You get a chance to get your answers oh my goodness. Let me flip that for a second, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Ooh, too much Christian went over my head. Get your questions answered tomorrow night. And I know, I've seen Robert in so many interviews the past couple days. He's a great guy. He really is. So definitely tune in with us tomorrow as we sit down and just really go over all the stuff. Oh, yes, Mousebong, this is a weekly show. This show, Tracks of the Damned, is every week. Sometimes we do it on Monday. Sometimes we do it on Tuesday, but it is weekly. Reapers Underground is always Wednesday or Thursday. And then Friday night is the goddamn program. So you can guarantee to watch any of those shows every week. So, but yeah, tune in for all the fun. It's just getting better as we get into the fall. My favorite time of year, witchy season.
There's a new Exorcist movie coming out that I want to go see.
That's right. Oh, and as I understand, The Nun Part 2 is already out, and the awful reviews are already coming. And I told everybody that this was going to happen, and I'm just dying. Absolutely, Mousebong. You know how Facebook is. The algorithm is always all over the place, and I just keep trying to keep up. So stay glued every day to the pages, both Black Flame Entertainment, Reapers Underground, Human the Hoof Beast on Instagram. for all the updates on when the shows are happening. And so, you know, as you're finally getting ready to lay it down as we approach hump day, and you got visions of goat's blood flying at you from afar, and it doesn't taste so good. Just remember that you must always stay heavy.
All residents, go in and stay in your houses. Drive the rats in the tank area.